Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update for August 2021. Let's take a look at what's new on the layout. So we'll start over here at the east end of Banff Station, behind the speeder shed. Last month I talked about doing the plaster scene all along the backdrop there. So I had removed all the trees, and then now that it was sealed up with that plaster scene, I was actually able to go and finish the scenery along that 6 inches that I hadn't secured down yet. So I went ahead and did that all the way from the staging yard lead over there to the edge of the station platform. It's all scenic now, static grass, and I kind of changed up the scene a little bit and added some stuff at the far end, so let's take a look at that. So this is a bird's eye view of the very east end of the layout. And what I had here, and these have been here forever, right back to when I laid the track, but these are Atlas re-railers cut in half, and I actually used the other half over on the other reverse loop. The purpose of these is to re-rail any cars on the trains before it goes into staging and then derails in staging, because eventually it'll be very hard to access when there's another staging loop parked on top of it. So they look kind of like a road crossing, and I think like Atlas tries to make them look like a road crossing. They're brown and they're just plastic. So I thought it'd be cool, like those serve a purpose, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to tie that into the scenery. And even though on the real thing there is no road crossing here at this section of the Banff yard, but take a little bit of a artistic license and added a little road crossing here, like a maintenance away road, tied it into the parking by the ice house, and then it goes across, and then just a very thin strip of road all the way over to the locomotive watering station and the speeder shed over there. And that's an actual real prototypical thing in the real Banff yard in this era anyway. That was a maintenance away parking lot, and then the maintenance away building was actually right here about. So you could see in photos there's usually maintenance away trucks parked right there in that exact spot. So I thought that was kind of cool that I could do that prototypical scene and then also make this look a little bit more interesting. So I carried the road, I kept going with the kind of road color until it disappears into staging here, and it's kind of hard to see, but this is the plexiglass. This is where the plexiglass begins right here. There, you can see it. And just to kind of tie that together and blend out the staging portion. So planted lots of more trees. Really tried to match the ones that I had done that look like the backdrop, so you could see I was putting smaller ones in there and trying to match it up. And then if we pan to the right, a lot more trees in along here, and then kind of going around the corner, and then some green grass, because this is one of the only places along here that actually has cut lawn. You can see lots of pictures of the Rocky Mountaineer dropping pastures off, and there's this kind of green grass in the background there, so I tried to capture that. When I was doing the static grass here at the east end of the station, using my War World Scenics Pro micro static grass applicator. I hadn't actually used this thing yet, and shout out to Greg there at Fishplate Films for recommending it. Actually, I really like it, works good. The only issue I had with it is it comes with these massive, you see how big the openings are in the grill on this thing, and it didn't come with any other smaller ones. So I knew that was going to be an issue, because I just like to use 2 mil static grass when I'm doing stuff like this that's at, you know, like a cut lawn or something. And I knew with these huge holes in the grill that it would come out way too fast. So I went to Walmart quick and picked up one of these little tiny strainers in the cooking aisle, and it had a screen about that big in it. So cut that out. I think this was like $4. Cut out a circle that would fit inside there, and voila, you got a smaller grill, fits right inside there, and then the static grass doesn't come out so fast. So little DIY fix for if you have one of these World War Scenics static grass applicators. So then another scenery item I worked on, now that, again, like I've talked about, having been sealed that backdrop and gotten all the scenery done along there, I was able to complete this scene, and this portion had been waiting for me to finish that. So now that that was finished, I could go ahead, and you could see I was able to put Ian's concrete blocks, shout out to Ian, in their final spot there. And then also finished the train station sign, which is a prototypical thing for this era. They use the same sign, but I think now it says like parking lot. It's kind of an advertisement for the giant parking lot they built. So this sign wasn't that old, and it's already history, but we preserve that here on my layout. So let's take a look at that. So it's a masonry sign. It's quite big. It's about as tall as a person in real life, and I actually measured this thing in a couple trips years ago to the Banff station because I knew I wanted to model it and I wanted to get it like as close to accurate as I could. So I had detailed measurements on this thing, so I was able to make the pedestal first for it, and then I actually printed photos I had of it, and that's what I used to do the masonry work and the sign itself. It's scaled down to HO scale, photographs that I had taken, and then just carefully glued onto the base piece that I made. The thing I really like about it is you can actually read the writing, because this is quite a big sign. It's like 3 by 6 feet maybe, or 3 by 8 feet, and it's really cool. You can actually read the writing on it, showing that, you know, Banff train station, Banff Heritage Train Station, and the Visitor Information Center hang a left here. So just like the real thing when you used to pull into Banff around this era, that was the sign. So then I just did the reverse, if you flip it around. So that's the normal way. Same thing on the back, but I just mirror imaged the arrow and used the same lit image so it looked right. I'll throw in some pictures of the construction of this thing, but it was pretty simple. The top here and this is styrene. The core is that green MDF that I like to use for stuff like this, and then airbrush the concrete color. And then the signs themselves are brass. And then I use the pegs to hold it up as just some extra sprues I had laying around. So I figured while I was at it, I might as well make a few more, because there's a couple signs that have been around the Banff station over the years. And actually, I don't know if it was a Parks Canada thing, because there's a similar sign up in Jasper that eventually I'd like to model too. So I made enough to do the rest of the Banff station as well as Jasper eventually. This one in particular is around 2010, I believe, and it sat outside the train station, right outside the front door. And I like that it had the old Rocky Mountaineer logo. So same deal with the construction. I actually used the same images, and then exact same construction, so pretty cool. Another sign for the Banff station. Here's my original measurements I took of the real deal when I was in Banff. It's nice when you can get access to stuff, and this is just on public land there outside the station, so there's no issues getting up close to it and taking a tape measure to it. That's what I used to get my basis for the core of the signs. And then I did the artwork using Corel Draw. Actually, that looks pretty cool. You can see the ones I cut out. And there's what it looks like now. So not nearly as cool as the Heritage Train Station sign. Now it's got this lame free parking thing because they've just built this massive parking lot east of the station. So that's how I did those. Alright, so we'll go take a look at the last thing I was working on this past month, and that is continuing on the Banff station itself. So let's go over to the workbench. That's where it's sitting right now. Take a look at what's new. So on our way over there, see we've got a significant derailment here at Divide. Not sure what happened there, although I have an idea of who was involved. Alright, so I got the whole station on my workbench here, and it takes up my whole workbench because it's so big. I've been slowly working on the second floor of the station, the operator's living quarters, and I've just been starting the roof of the baggage section. So you can see I've got some of the support here set up, and I'm just working on getting the angles right for that. So there's a shot of the overhead of the second floor. So this is all secured on there now and glued down, everything's solid. What I'm working on right now is these little decks that kind of stick out from the second story, and they have a really unique shape. These actually weren't that easy to get the right curve on there. I had to use thinner styrene and then bend two and glue it together. Throw in a picture here. So I haven't glued these down yet, but I was working on the artwork for the front of these. So as far as starting the roof, I didn't really know where to start, so I just thought, well, this is the simpler end. The baggage section really just only has this going on. So put some fun tack on this and show you what that's going to look like. So that's the one end, so I'll do that one, then I can do the two long pieces. I'm gonna make those out of balsa, because that's just what I have, and I think it'll work pretty good. It holds its flatness really nice, so it shouldn't take too much support. And then of course the roof shingles, I'll do up the artwork based on my photographs, print those off, and that'll go on there. So I got this end's done, and because it's the exact same size, I've made the other one for the other end, and I will just be carrying on with the roof work on this thing now. One more thing as a follow-up to the workbench video there from a month ago or whatever it was. Remember I talked about how badly organized my spray paint was. So I actually took some time to build some shelving with scrap 5/8 plywood that I left over from roadbed. This was super old. This stuff's like 4 years old, and I just had these random kind of curved chunks left over. So I made some shelves that are perfect height for spray paint, and now I can store all my spray paint near to the airbrush booth, and it's all nice and accessible and out of the way, and the floor has never looked better. So that was just a quick afternoon project, and nice to get that cleaned up. Alright, so that'll wrap up this layout update video, guys. We'll leave you here at Mount Norquay Road crossing. I think I can hear a train coming. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.